Hello everyone. So today I'm going to explain a romance-type anime movie whose story will touch your heart. Not just the story, but its animation is also quite powerful. In this movie, we see 3 different stories that will remind you of your childhood, your first love, or your home. Out of these 3 stories, the last one is the best. So, if you want, you can skip the first story but definitely watch the last one. And if you like this story, you can check out the explanations for Crystal and Yesterday as well. Those movies are also quite strong. So, the first story is called First Story. It begins by showing a guy named Nam who used to live in Beijing, and today, he is returning to his hometown, which brings back all his old memories, long forgotten. He tells us what a real home truly means in life. We have all forgotten this. Today, as he returns to his real home, all his old memories are flooding back. He shares noodles with a couple and enjoys them with his grandmother. But one day, the noodle shop closes, and nobody knows why. Now Nam has reached school and found a new rice noodle shop. Though the noodles here aren't as delicious as the previous ones, Nam keeps coming back daily, but not for the noodles, rather, for a girl who passes by the same place every day. She is his senior at school. Unfortunately, fate wasn't kind, as a few months later, the noodle shop closes. No more noodles, no more secretly watching the girl. Time passes and Nam, now in his final year of middle school, notices that the noodle shop has reopened, but the girl has graduated and left town, marking the loss of his first love. Back to the present, Nam has reached his hometown, and now we find out why he returned. His grandmother is very ill and on her deathbed. He sits by her side, holding her hand, as she says, "Son, you came. Forgive me, I don't think we will be able to eat those noodles together again," Nam replies. "Grandma, don't say that. I hope we can eat them again," and with that, his grandmother passes away. The next morning, Nam steps out of his house and says, "The pain I feel in my heart will lessen with time because some things change, and some things never change." Then, he goes to the noodle shop, and as he hears the sound of 2 girls on bicycles approaching, for a moment, he feels as though he is back in his middle school days, with the girl passing by him. He reflects that the time that has passed will never return, but looking back at it, he realizes how far he has come. The memories of those days will always live in a corner of his heart, and thus, the first story ends here. Yesterday teaches us that things don't stay the same forever. We must move forward, leaving many things behind, because the time we pass today makes us a better person tomorrow. So, the second story starts. Titled Little Fashion Show, this story begins by introducing a girl named Mu, who says that she never liked her height since childhood. Because of her height, she always attracted attention in crowds, bumping into things, etc. But today it is because of this height that she has a job. Mu is a model, and she has a younger sister, Hina. Their parents passed away in their childhood, and Mu raised Hina through her modeling career. Mu realizes that things are changing rapidly, like fashion trends, models, and everything. She knows she can't do this forever, and her time will come eventually. After one shoot, she is standing there when an old man asks her, "Tell me, what do you see from here?" Mu replies, "Cameras, lights, and many girls." The old man laughs and says, "Where you are standing is a dream for millions of girls, and that's all you can see? I expected a better answer from you." Then he leaves. Mu's manager comes and tells her that the man is the new director. Next, we find out it's Mu's birthday, and Hina has prepared a lot for her, but the company has organized a party for her, keeping her very busy. At the party, we also see Mu's boyfriend, Ryo, who brings flowers for her. Mu asks if he will stay, but he says he's sorry and has to leave. Then, a new model named Akane approaches Mu and says, "I'm a big fan. Please give me some advice." Mu replies, "What advice can I give you?" and is left pondering. Ryo comments on how charming Akane is, with all the qualities of a model, which annoys Mu a little. Ryo says, "You know, you won't always stay on top. Someone else will eventually replace you." Mu's manager drives her home as she was quite drunk, reminding her not to be late for the audition the next day. The next morning, Hina wakes Mu up before going to college, but Mu falls back asleep, only to wake up late. She rushes to the audition location, where Akane also arrives and gets selected, leaving Mu disappointed. Her manager consoles her, saying, "They needed a younger girl anyway." Mu goes home and sits, feeling low, when Hina asks if something is wrong. Mu denies it, saying it's just that she needs to maintain her figure for Fashion Week. But Hina insists something is up, and Mu shouts at her to mind her own business. Despite everything, Mu works hard. One day, while jogging, she sees Ryo with Akane. On the day of Fashion Week, Mu falls ill. Her manager advises her to skip the event, saying one missed event won't hurt, but Mu refuses to listen. Backstage, Akane taunts Mu, saying that everyone will be looking at her, not Mu. Filled with rage, Mu steps onto the runway but collapses, and the scene cuts. After this incident, Mu puts a pause on her modeling career. One day, while sitting at home, she tells Hina, "I'm tired of this." Hina suggests she takes a break since her time has come to retire. Mu asks Hina to teach her how to design clothes, saying they could do it together. But Hina gets upset, asking how Mu could give up on her dream. She storms out of the house. Later, Mu tells her manager she wants to retire. The manager warns that Mu will lose both her career and her sister if she retires now, as Mu has no other skills apart from modeling. How will she make money? Angered, Mu shouts at him, but the manager hands her an address and tells her to be there by 4 p.m. tomorrow. The next day, Mu arrives at the location and finds her sister in the dressing room, who has designed a dress for Mu, just like their mother used to make for them. Mu is overwhelmed with emotion as she walks the runway one last time, and the scene cuts. We learn that after graduation, Hina started her own clothing brand, and Mu's modeling career is back on track. In the end, Mu says, "I design clothes, and my sister wears them. Together, we organize our little fashion show," and thus, the second story ends. Now, the third story, the best one, begins, titled Shanghai Love. At the start, we hear a girl's voice asking, "Have you ever thought about the future?" Then we meet the main character, Hiroshi, who reflects on these words, which were said to him years ago but are suddenly on his mind again. Hiroshi has just moved into a new apartment, unpacking his things. He was under a lot of work pressure and had shown a hotel design to his boss, who didn't like it and yelled at him. This led to a fight with his parents, and he decided not to stay with them anymore, which is why he moved into this new apartment. His friend Taron asks if Hiroshi's grandmother's house is still visible from here, and Hiroshi confirms that the area hasn't been demolished yet. As they unpack, Hiroshi finds a cassette and Taron says, "You still have this? I brought it to your house to give it to you, but you were busy, so I left it with your mom." Hiroshi had forgotten about the cassette, but the message recorded on it was important. Hiroshi rushes to his grandmother's house, hoping the cassette player is still there, praying it's not a goodbye message, as he would regret it for the rest of his life. The scene shifts to the past. Hiroshi, Yuri, and Taron are best friends. They used to visit Hiroshi's grandmother's house to listen to cassettes and have fun. One day, while playing, Taron teases Hiroshi, saying that Yuri likes him, making both Hiroshi and Yuri blush. As Yuri heads home, she trips, and Hiroshi carries her on his shoulders. While walking, Yuri asks if Hiroshi would record the lectures for her if she couldn't attend school. Hiroshi agrees. Next day, while recording a lecture, Hiroshi gets caught and scolded. But he still delivers the cassette to Yuri, who laughs after listening to it. The following day, Yuri gives Hiroshi a cassette, asking him to listen to it later. At home, Hiroshi plays the cassette, where Yuri asks, "Have you thought about the future? Like where we